Hey everybody, I'm David with Bolivar Live, and once again I'm here with Dan Priest with Priest Insurance Agency. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the changes that's happening. Don't look like you didn't know what I was going to say. You were scared I was going to change it.
You changed the subject line a little bit, so I got to tweak it back to what we talked about.
Some of the changes, I guess, in the insurance industry, what's happening, how things are evolving.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about it several times, there is some changes, and actually some prices have come down, if I'm not mistaken.
Prices have come down in some ways, and there's also some other things going on too. So, as everybody knows, the past 3 or 4 years have been tumultuous in the insurance industry, and as a consumer, you've probably just seen that in the amount of money that comes out of your bank account,
right,
on a monthly or annual basis.
Yeah,
it's a big deal. So as a consumer, I feel that too. So that's a real thing. So we've talked this thing before about this thing called a combined ratio in the insurance world, and that is very simply how much money you have coming in versus how much money you have going out. And for a few years there was about 25% more money going out
than coming in.
And that it had a trickle-down effect in a lot of ways, not just in the premium, but how insurance companies actually bought insurance for themselves. It's called reinsurance. So,
is that a lot? Do all insurance companies do that? Reinsurance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, they do. Texas Windstorm is doing some reinsurance this year. I think they've allocated to fix what they feel is their maximum exposure. They're buying or have bought $1.7 million in reinsurance.
Reinsurance.
So that's insurance for an insurance company. So yes, some rates have come down. Some companies that took rate action early, they're now seeing their combined ratio is dropping down below, and that is being reflected in changes in auto rates, changes in home rates. But there is this thing that we just mentioned called probable maximum loss. And that is every insurance company's nightmare. It happened a little bit in California. It's not an earthquake, but they had those fires, right? And that's 16,000 homes that are wiped out. So it resulted in one of the carriers requesting an emergency 20-something% rate increase to help pay for that, okay? Because they were going to go into their reinsurance and reserves. So other things is called catastrophic mitigation, CATMIT. And one of the ways that insurance companies are doing that, for example, on our coast, there's a Tier 1 county. And a Tier 1 county is a county that touches the coast.
Right.
And so Tier 1 counties are eligible for the wind pool.
Right.
Okay, in Texas Windstorm. Then there's Tier 2 counties.
Harris County?
Like Harris County, Fort Bend, Hardin, Orange County on the upper Texas coast, okay? So just because, if you're in Harris County and you're in Clear Lake,
right, versus Katy or
Clear Lake, there's a lot of things going on in Clear Lake, right? In Fort Bend County, down in Friendswood, in those areas, there's a lot of exposure down there in case a terrible storm.
Right, like Ike. It went right up the Houston Ship Channel.
But it actually it went up the channel, so most of its stuff was on the Galveston, on the Bolivar side of it. So it didn't go up, say, Freeport.
Right.
Which I think could be worse.
Right. Yeah, because I think that would hit more of Houston.
It would. So those insurance carriers, not just TWIA, but insurance carriers are taking steps which result in lower rates, which result in a profitable insurance company, they're a business, such as if roofs age, if they get to be 10 to 15 years old, we're seeing it to be very commonplace that roofs, when they get to that age, are covered on an actual cash value basis. That's like your car is covered, meaning you only get the value of your 5-year-old car.
Right.
Okay. We're seeing deductible mandates change, like for a named storm, as high as 5%. Well, in Florida, there's nothing to have a $25,000 deductible. They have a terrible situation going over there, and we may be heading that way too, where we have 5% or 25% deductibles. So other companies are doing now a minimum 5% deductible in Tier 2 counties, because that is a fear. We saw in Hurricane Rita, we saw in Ike, there's a lot of damage that happens
inland
in those counties. And as a business, they're trying to make some money too. And So that's kind of what's happening now in the insurance markets. So
are we starting to see any of the companies that pulled out? Are they starting to look at that it's not changing that much?
I haven't really. I haven't really seen companies really start to come back in.
Okay.
Some companies, they're still willing to do those things, but their rates are saying no.
Right.
Yes, we're back, but our rate is so much that it's really a
right. I know even on the business side, like whenever I went through, there was something that I was getting insurance for that they wouldn't write it anymore, and I can't remember what it was, but I had to find someone else, and you were involved with that, helping me on that stuff. But it's from a consumer,
very frustrating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I haven't had a claim in 6 years. Mm-hmm. I've paid into them. That's what upset me. I'm not mad at the insurance company, the person writing it. I'm mad at the other person that was collecting my money for 6 years, and then all of a sudden they have a brain fart and say, and I'm going to say it, brain fart, oh, well, we're not going to write him anymore because he hasn't had a claim in 6 years, and their thinking is, sooner or later.
So,
and this has nothing to do against Priest Insurance.
We have now left the subject.
Yeah.
Officially, we have left the building. So that's a typical thought process. We all think that way.
Is it?
Yeah, sure. I've had my house for 50 years. I've never had a claim, and you're going to raise my rate, right? Yeah. Well, that's an individual thing, right? And I can't go to this huge insurance company and say, hey, look at David. He hadn't had a claim. He's living life so well, because they can't look at it as individually.
Right. It's business.
No, it's an aggregate.
Yeah.
So there's a risk pool. Like the risk pool of all the Davids in the world, or all the Dans in the world, or all the Beach
God help us if there's more than me.
So, and what happens on those losses? So we've talked about combined ratios before. So those pools, while you may not be that person, that pool is now losing money.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it easier to understand.
Oh, I know. It just, or
less frustrating.
It was me.
This was not the subject matter, by the way.
It was me, and it was just like, really? Mm-hmm. They're going to do that? But then they wanted to write another part, and I said, no. If they're not going to write everything, find me someone else. Right. So anyway, okay, back on our subject now. I had to go on a rant. I hadn't gone on a rant in a while.
But he is. So anyway, that's how it goes. And whether it's, we can talk about the individual stuff along the way, but generally the insurance company, as I see it, has taken, the insurance industry has taken some steps to become a little bit more healthy, to generate more. What we all really need is rate stability.
Right.
And that doesn't mean rates don't go up, but maybe they don't go up 10, 15%. Maybe they go up 2 to 3% a year, which is, I think, easier to manage.
Oh, a whole lot easier, especially, the economy, I think, is going to be getting better. But still, when you have a 5 or a 15% rate increase, man, that's a hickey.
There were some over the past few years, and I think we've talked a little bit about that.
Right.
But it was, for lack of a better word, tumultuous. And in the 20-something years I've been doing this, it was the most disruptive period I've seen.
I think we had talked about that. So, well, like I always say, you never know what we're going to talk about. And during the show, we may get off on a whole nother subject, but Dan's a good player in it, knows exactly where I'm going, and lets me vent every once in a while. So, Dan, if people have questions on what's going on, maybe they're thinking about moving their home from a regular home to a rental home, or they're buying a new vehicle, what's the best way for them to get hold of you?
Always by phone, 409-755-7600. You can send us a message on Facebook, which we're there as well, or
email.
Email priestinsuranceenagency.com. Just reach out to us. We're glad to.
And the experience, the experience they have in their office, if you can't get an answer like that or pretty quick, I'd be real surprised, because Jamie's, 15 years?
Jamie's
and
15, Shay's 20.
20.
Yep.
There's 25 right there between the two of them.
Yes.
And then even the front office staff is there to help you with any questions you have. So make sure you give them a call, email them, send them a message on their contact on their website, but get hold of them. So Dan, thanks for joining us today. Until next time, I'm David with Bolivar Live. Y'all have a great day, great week. Come see us. God bless, and bye-bye.
Video equipment is sponsored by Crystal Beach Decor and More, located at 1959 Highway 87 in Crystal Beach, Texas, and Beachy Beatnik Boutique and Jewelry, located at 970 Surfside and Highway 87 in Crystal Beach, Texas. Thank you to these two businesses for being our 2025 video equipment sponsor for Bolivar Live.